I remember the exact date when everything changed for me. I remember sitting down and a couple of my friends seemed to be dieting. Dieting's not really something new to me, as people from my old school used to diet, but I was just really shocked at how common it really was. I think this was when I firstly became quite aware of how I was eating. But what was the most triggering was the constant negative self-talk, and just how people would just be constantly saying bad things about themselves. Now, it's great to be open with your friends and be comfortable with talking to them, but I think that saying such harmful things about yourself can actually be quite triggering and can make people feel really uncomfortable. Diet culture nowadays seems to be promoted to great extents, but all these promotions can actually be a drive for an eating disorder to appear. Talks about calories and weight loss, they really should not be mentioned. And during the time when I suffered from my eating disorder, all I would be surrounded by was calories, and I would just hear this word all the time. When New Year struck me, this was when things started to become more serious. I said to myself, New Year, new me, thinking that it would not be harmful at all. But straight after, I constantly cut out an excessive amount of food that I was eating, so my intake was really low. And when school started, I set alarms for 5 a.m. and I would just exercise. These 5 a.m. wake-ups would leave me so fatigued, but I also told myself that I could not have any free time at all. So after school, I would come back and I would just do excessive amounts of studying. But this studying was really not useful or effective, because nothing seemed to be going to my brain. I was so tired, and I also did not have the right amount of nutrients to keep my brain going. I think it was when, it was half term, it was coming up, and I was just so tired. And I also think that I thought that I was sick. I knew that I was sick, and I needed someone to help. So my cry of help was somewhat to starve myself. I felt as though I wasn't sick enough at the time because I was not skinny enough, and I also felt that I just did not feel sick enough. So I thought that starving myself and completely cutting out food would be the right way for my cry of help. And on the 4th day was when I actually fainted. Many people believe that to have anorexia you have to be a certain weight, but this could not be further from the truth. After I fainted, I was unable to stand or to even actually talk, so I had to be hospitalized. This was where my blood sugar levels were so low, and there was talk about a coma in Geneva. But during my time in hospital, I still used such bad habits. My mental state was not ready for recovery. I just wanted to start my whole controlling routine again. So the day I left the hospital, I just ignored every information that the doctor told me, and I went back to doing all my toxic bad habits. I believe it was the second time when I was hospitalized when the realization struck me that I had no real friends, and all I wanted was to be alone. I pushed myself away from everyone, and I think everyone really found me annoying. I just spent most of my days in the library crying. I think this really needs to be addressed, because anorexia is not just hurting your health, but it's also affecting many to drive into depression. I hardly spoke to my family, and my relationship with my family was really weak. Although they were incredibly supportive and helped me a lot, I always seemed to be pushing them away. The long-term effects of anorexia was what really pushed me for recovery. My metabolism was getting slower, and I was constantly cold and never really enjoyed anything. I had trouble sleeping, and my body never seemed to be at rest, and my personality was just non-existent. I just became so strict on myself, and I had to be in control of everything. Recovery is possibly the hardest thing that I've ever done. I still get so insecure sometimes. I compare myself to great extents, but recovery is also the best thing I've ever chosen to do, because now I can actually live life. I can go out with my friends without being scared of calories. And this did take me a really long time. I think that one can only recover when they acknowledge the fact that they have an eating disorder and are able to freely open up about it. I never thought that I'd be able to gain weight, but here I am sitting with a lot of confidence and smiling. And this is all after gaining a good amount of weight. So recovery is really possible.